The year is 1919. People of the world are rebuilding their lives after the First World War. The bereaved, veterans, and the rest of society struggle with coming to grips with the devastating amount of casualties and lives lost by all countries involved. Such astronomical numbers have never been experienced in past wars. Around 10 million military servicemen and nearly 8 million civilians are killed and 20 million wounded. Around the world, for the first time, there is a growing social movement to create war memorials that showcase the themes of glory, heroism, and loss. More than 100 years later, in significant locations throughout France and Belgium, 13 First World War battlefield memorials reside, commemorating the feats of Canadian and Newfoundland troops. Perhaps the best known of all Canadian memorials in Europe is the Vimy Memorial. It marks the site of the Battle of Vimy Ridge in April 1917 and commemorates all Canadians who served. The Beaumont-Hamel Newfoundland Memorial remembers the courageous service of the 1st Newfoundland Regiment in the Battle of the Somme on July 1, 1916. It also honors those with no known grave. The Borland Wood Memorial honors Canadians involved in the September 1918 attack against the Hindenburg Line during the war's final push. The Courcelette Memorial pays tribute to Canadians who successfully pushed back German forces in the region during the Battle of the Somme in September to November of 1916. The Courtrai Memorial commemorates the actions of Newfoundland forces in the Battle of Lys in October 1918. The Dury Canadian Memorial honors the capture of the Drocourt-Quéant Switch and the breaking of the Hindenburg Line on September 2, 1918. The Goudecourt Memorial marks where Newfoundlanders aided in the capture of a primary German position during the Battle of Le Transloy in October 1916. The Hill 62 Sanctuary Wood Memorial pays homage to Canadian troops who prevented the last remaining sliver of Belgian territory from falling into enemy hands. The Le Quesnel Canadian Memorial pays tribute to the 100,000-strong Canadian Corps who drove back the Germans a distance of 13 kilometers on August 8, 1918. The Massinière Newfoundland Memorial commemorates the Newfoundland Force's efforts in the Battle of Cambrai in November and December of 1917. The Monchy-le-Preux Memorial marks the site where Newfoundlanders pushed back German counterattacks during the Battle of Arras in April of 1917. The Passchendaele Canadian Memorial commemorates the extreme sacrifices of Canadian Corps during the Second Battle of Passchendaele in November of 1917. The Saint Julien Canadian Memorial marks the spot where the 1st Canadian Division made a heroic stand during the first gas attack at Ypres in April of 1915. All told, nearly 66,000 Canadians were killed and another 172,000 wounded during the war to end all wars. And Newfoundland, still a small colony during the First World War, suffered more than its fair share, with almost 1,300 killed and several more thousand wounded. Canada's casualties of war, part of our First World War heritage, and proving that courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something is more important than fear.